Welcome everyone to Roll for Recipe. For those who are new here, my name is Kyle and I roll these dice for different ingredients and rules and try to make a dish with them. So without further ado, let's get to rolling. Starting off as always with a restriction roll. That's 1 for limited pantry, so instead of rolling 2d6 for extra ingredients at the end, we're only gonna roll 1d4. Next up is the d8 for protein. That's an 8, we're gonna use some chicken thighs today. Chicken thighs are one of the best budget proteins of all time. We can braise these, we can fry them, we can bake them. There is a lot of possibilities that we can do with these. And now, d6 for carb. 2 for English muffins. English muffins are gonna be a little awkward to work with chicken thighs, but there's still some possibilities. I think an open-faced sandwich might be the most likely direction we're gonna go now, but let's see what else we roll. 2d12 for the seasonings. 3 and 6, cocoa powder and dill. Well, cocoa powder was not happy being swapped out last time, so it had to come back for revenge. To be honest with you guys, I'm not really sure how well these two are gonna work with what we have so far, and with limited pantry, this could get ugly fast. And next up is 2d20 for those produce. 2 and 11, that is banana and avocado. So avocados are surprisingly a good roll here with the English muffins. I think they're gonna pair well for an avocado toast, or at least a mock version of it. I actually don't hate the bananas either. I rolled these a while back and did kind of a spin-off of Maduros with them, just fry them with a little bit of oil. And on top of that, they kind of pair well with the cocoa powder. Bananas and cocoa go well. So hopefully it might make this awkward ingredient a little less awkward. And the final ingredient, the D100 Wild Magic Roll. 27 is fish sauce. Fish sauce sounds a little bit odd here, but if you remember that it's similar to soy sauce in that it's just an umami booster, one that smells way worse than it tastes, mind you, then it's actually not too bad. I think we can definitely fit it in somewhere. So normally this is the part where we roll 2d6 to see how many extra ingredients we can add, but because we got limited pantry, we can only roll 1d4. That's a 1, so we only get to add 1 extra ingredient today. That is gonna be rough. So before I reveal the final ingredient, I just wanna go over what's kind of in my head right now. So I already mentioned the English muffins and the avocados make a pretty decent avocado toast, or a good mock of it. And then the bananas and the cocoa powder should combine together to make kind of a riff on Maduros. So these 4 ingredients don't need a whole lot to work with. We're really just looking at the chicken thighs, the dill, and the fish sauce. And so with that in mind, the final ingredient I'm going to choose is orange juice. So I'm thinking in the direction of like an orange chicken here, which the sauce for that is mostly just orange juice and soy sauce, but we have fish sauce. And like I said, it plays a similar role in an umami booster. So I think if we marinate the chicken in this orange juice, in the fish sauce, probably throw a little dill in there, and then braise it in that same liquid, I think it should turn out fine. All right, these are all our ingredients, so with that, let's get cooking. We're gonna start out with the chicken thighs. I happen to get bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs, but because we're gonna braise these and then shred them, I'm gonna remove the bone and the skin. So to debone and skin a chicken thigh, the first thing you're gonna do is just rip the skin off. Pretty easy to do. Now to remove the bone, what you're gonna notice is you have a tip here and you have a tip on the other side. You're gonna cut kind of alongside that till eventually you expose the bone. Now once you've kind of exposed the bone here, you're gonna come in with your knife underneath that. You're just gonna cut up alongside it, and then you just gotta trim kind of around this bone, try to get the last bits of it off. And there's the chicken bone. And now just finish trimming off any excess fat after removing the bones. And here we are, 2 boneless, skinless chicken thighs. All right, now we're gonna make our marinade. We're gonna start off with a bowl here. Now a normal orange chicken sauce would be about 4 parts orange juice to 1 part soy sauce. I think we're only gonna do about half the amount of fish sauce because it's a much stronger flavor. Gonna aim for about a cup here. That might be more than a cup. And then the fish sauce, just a couple dashes of this I think should be fine. I'm also gonna throw a couple sprigs of dill into the marinade. All right, and now we just add the chicken thighs. And I'm gonna cover this and let it marinate for probably about a couple hours. All right, got a pot down here, gonna put a little oil in it and take the chicken thighs. We're gonna sear these chicken thighs on both sides. I've seasoned them with a bit of salt. Ooh, that might have been a bit much. All right, and now we're gonna take the marinade and we're gonna use it as the braising liquid. I am going to add some water because this, make sure that this stays covered. All right, and now that this is up to a rolling boil, I'm gonna reduce the heat down to a medium-low, let it cool down to a simmer, and then let it braise for probably about 30 minutes to an hour, just depends on when the chicken's done. All right, so while that's braising, we're gonna cut up our banana and avocado and get these prepped. So, if I'm doing this Maduro style, typically they're cut a bit slanted, so that's how I'm gonna do them. And a little piece on the end for me. Now we cut into this avocado. Be careful if you're doing this seed method, by the way. I have 100%, I don't know if you guys can tell the scar on my thumb there that I got doing this one time. Definitely could just have one wrong slip of the knife and it all goes south. All right, so you can just take a fork and you can just mash these real quick. And to this avocado, we're gonna add a touch of salt, a small little splash of that orange juice, and I hope it doesn't ruin it, but I am going to add a little bit of dill. I mean, dill is a big flavor in ranch, and avocado ranch is a thing, so hopefully this works. Little taste test. Yeah, it's actually not too bad with the dill. All right, and now we're gonna do the bananas. Just gonna do a small touch of cocoa powder, a little bit of salt, spritz of oil, and mix that up. This may be too much cocoa powder. Guess we will see. Into the air fryer. I'm gonna air fry these at 350 for maybe like 10 minutes. I'll see. I haven't done this in a while, so I have no idea. All right, chicken is done. It is completely falling apart here, so we are going to shred it. All right, just gotta get a couple forks, shred this up real quick. Actually doesn't taste too bad. Our plate. Some lightly toasted English muffins, the avocado. Just gonna spread a good spoonful on each side. So I was going to use these on top. I thought they'd turn out a little bit nicer looking, but they're pretty dark. They're not burnt, but they just, because of the cocoa powder, they look dark. So I'm gonna put these on next. Gonna add a couple slices to each side here. Next, the chicken. Stack it so that it adds a good height to the dish. We'll put a little dill on each, just for a bit of garnish. All right, and here's the final dish. Honestly, I have much higher hopes than I thought I was going to for this one. Each component actually tastes pretty good, and it looks a lot cleaner than I thought it was going to, so I'm excited to dig in. Quick reminder to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video and want to see more. I think it's gonna be a bit messy, but it should be good. Bon appetit. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I like this way better than I thought I was going to. It is surprisingly cohesive. You have orange juice, avocado, banana, all kind of give a weird tropical vibe to it. I'm getting little hints of the dill and it's not too bad in here. And then cocoa again kind of mixes with that banana. It just becomes one flavor profile for the most part. The chicken is pretty standout here because as with anything with fish sauce, it smells terrible as you're cooking it. So you really just don't know how it's gonna turn out until you finally taste it. My only complaint is that the bananas are a little bit too overpowering. They're very, very sweet. I'd be curious if leaving them raw would have actually been the correct move here, but I would say out of all the dishes on this series so far, this one might have surprised me the most. I did not expect this to come out this good. For a score, I really don't have much else to say about the flavor. Like I said, the bananas really were overpowering and a little bit too sweet, so that's really its only downside. And yeah, if you don't like bananas, you would probably hate this. And then I don't really have another reason to mark it down. It's a relatively simple dish. You're just braising the chicken, marinating it first. English muffins, some mashed avocado, nothing here is too complicated. And then price-wise, outside of maybe avocado and fish sauce, depending on where you live, this is a great budget meal. I mean, I guess I use expensive cocoa powder for this, but you could honestly use a cheaper brand like Hershey's and it would probably be fine. So just thinking of a score, I think the only thing that was the downside was the bananas. They're just a little too overpowering, a little too sweet. I'm gonna knock it off like a 1.5 points for that, but I don't really have another reason to mark this thing down. So with that, I'm gonna give this one an 8.5 out of 10, and I'm gonna call it against all odds. Because honestly, I thought this was gonna be below average when I rolled it. So this was a pleasant surprise. As always, everyone, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe if you like this video. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.